Okay, so apparently Claressa Shields thinks she won something. Girl, you didn't win a man. You inherited a lawsuit with a heartbeat. Let me explain, because we have a lot to get into today. Grab your coffee, grab your popcorn, whatever you're grabbing, because this one's messy. This one's real messy. Welcome back to Celeb Spill. And today we're talking about 50 Cent, Papoose, Remy Ma, and the woman currently cosplaying as a wife, Claressa Shields. Let's get into it. So first things first, Claressa posted this whole breakfast spread, pancakes, eggs, the whole production. Very cute, very domestic, very look how happy we are. Except, and stay with me here, this was the same week she was in a Snapchat group threatening to sue people over video clips. So let's recap. She's flipping pancakes at 8 a.m. and issuing legal threats by lunchtime. Make it make sense. Because that's not a girlfriend energy. That's hostage negotiator with a spatula energy. And here's the thing about people who overcompensate in public. They're usually compensating for something they know is falling apart in private. Nothing, and I mean nothing, says I'm secure in my relationship, like threatening a lawsuit over somebody reposting your Snapchat story. Babe, sit down. Now let's talk about this $8 million, because apparently we're supposed to be impressed. She's out here talking about Louis Vuitton, Van Cleef, $30,000 shopping trips. And listen, get your money, queen, I don't care. But here's what's wild to me. Remy Ma bought her house in full cash. No mortgage, never posted about it, never made a TikTok about the receipt, just quietly owns real estate like a grown woman. Meanwhile, Claressa's out here buying designer bags like she's trying to convince herself she's rich. And that's the tell, sis. When you have to keep showing people the money, it's usually because deep down you don't actually believe it's real yet. You know what's actually expensive. A financial advisor. Go get one. Buy less bags, more assets. I promise you Louis Vuitton does not appreciate and value the way property does. And honestly, this is a bigger conversation than just her, right? Because we keep seeing this pattern with people who come into sudden money. First thing they do is buy something loud, something you can see from space, because deep down, it's not even about the item. It's about needing everyone to witness the transformation. Real wealth doesn't need witnesses. Real wealth pays cash for a house and goes back to bed. That's the difference. And it's a difference she has not learned yet. Now, this next part, this is the part that really got under my skin, ladies. Layla Ali, the woman who trained her, advised her, believed in her before anybody else did. And Claressa turned around and used Layla's own words against her, pushing this whole box me for money campaign like Layla didn't build half the foundation she's standing on. That's not confidence. That's not girl power. That is a straight up stab in the back with a smile painted on top. And it told me everything I needed to know about her character, because how you treat the people who helped you before you had something, that's the real tea. Not how you act once the cameras are rolling. You don't get to burn the ladder on your way up and then act shocked when people start calling you out for the fall. That was strike one for me personally. Strike one. Okay, deep breath. Because we need to talk about the actual elephant in the room. Papoose and Remy Ma are still legally married. Say it with me one more time for the people in the back. The divorce is not final. There's no paperwork. There's no signature. There is a man playing house with Claressa Shields while his actual legal wife has not signed off on any of it. This isn't a love story, ladies. This is a legal gray area with a ring light and a content calendar. And I need you to understand something. If your man's divorce has been pending for over a year, that's not pending. That's a maybe. That's a he hasn't fully decided yet situation. And you are out here decorating a house you don't actually own the deed to. It's just not realistic. It's not practical. And no amount of breakfast content is going to change the paperwork. I've said it before and I'll say it again. You cannot manifest your way around a legal document. You cannot caption your way into a marriage certificate. Either the paperwork is signed or it isn't. And right now, it isn't. So every happy family post is basically a countdown clock she's decorating with flowers and pretending it's a finish line. And then, my loves, 50 Cent decided he'd had enough. because he pulls up this old clip of Remy Ma talking about how Papoose was sleeping on her couch, how she was paying for his entire family, how he was allegedly out here trying to pawn her jewelry for cash.
We want you to know that we in full support. Well, I'm definitely in full support because I love you to death. Let me say it again in case they didn't hear me. I love you to death more than anything. But look, congratulations, Win Records. Claressa the Quote Shields. Let's go, baby. $8 million new deal. 50 boxing.
And then, because 50 Cent has jokes for days, he follows it up with that old Dave Chappelle skit, the I'm just trying to serve the community bit, the one where Chappelle's working at Whack Donald's. If you know, you know. And that's when it hit me. 50 didn't even have to raise his voice. He didn't even have to write a caption with a single curse word in it. He just pulled up Remy Ma's own words from her own mouth and let Papoose sit in it. That's not a diss, ladies. That is an autopsy. I had to pause the video. I needed a minute because when the receipts come from the person who actually lived it, not a hater, not a random account, the actual ex-wife, there is no coming back from that. There's no clapback. There's no caption clever enough to undo that. And listen, I love when the internet does the work for me because the comments under this thing were rough. People were asking why Papoose even engaged 50 Cent in the first place, knowing 50 Cent stays undefeated in these online wars. Somebody said, no man falls in love faster than a man with nowhere else to stay. And I had to sit with that one for a second because, okay, that's actually kind of brilliant and kind of devastating at the same time. But here's my point. When your own fans, your own supporters start asking, wait, why is she doing this? That's not hate, sis. That's not the haters getting to her. That is a wake-up call that she is choosing actively to ignore. And that's on her. Okay, hot take time. And I stand on this one. I really do. I don't think Papoose ever actually left Remy Ma emotionally. I think he's just waiting for the phone call. Because if Remy Ma called him tonight and said, come home, I genuinely believe he would be packing a bag before she even finished the sentence. And I say this with love, not hate. Claressa isn't the destination here. She might be the layover, the rebound with a ring light. The place he's parked while he figures out if the door back home is actually closed or just left ajar. That's not me being mean. That's just me watching the pattern because the pattern doesn't lie. People don't leave real love that easily, and they especially don't leave it for someone who feels the need to threaten lawsuits over Snapchat clips before 9 a.m. And here's the part that actually makes me sad instead of savage for a second. I think Claressa knows this too, deep down. I think that's why she's posting so much. I think that's why every breakfast, every bag, every caption feels like it's screaming instead of just existing. Because when you're actually secure, you don't need to perform it this hard. You just live it quietly like Remy Ma did with that house. The loudness is the tell. It's always the tell. So here's where I land on all of this, and I want you to really hear me. I don't care how good the Louis Vuitton bag is. I don't care how many pancake breakfasts you post. You cannot cook, gift, threaten, or content calendar your way into a marriage that hasn't legally ended yet. That's not romance. That is a placeholder, and deep down, I think she knows it. And to my last point, and I say this gently because I do actually care, bringing a baby into a situation where the divorce is stalled, where the man still has one foot out the door, where the whole relationship is playing out in real time on social media for everyone to dissect. That's not a fairy tale, ladies. That's a setup for the loneliest kind of heartbreak there is. I hope she hears this before it's too late. I really do. All right, that's the tea for today. Loves, drop a comment down below. Is Claressa the main character in this story? Or is she just filling in until Remy Ma decides to pick up the phone? I want to know what you think. Sure, you're following Celeb Spill so you don't miss the next update. Because trust me, this mess is far from over. This is one of those stories that's going to keep unfolding, receipt by receipt, caption by caption. And I promise you, I will be right here breaking it all down the second it happens. Like this video, subscribe if you're new, and drop your predictions in the comments because I have a feeling we are nowhere near the finale.